49ers Ultimate Report. This is John Jay, your 49ers reporter, opinionist, analyst, and die-hard fan. You see the ticker right there? We're doing the Candlestick Point Report today. You already know who's going to be on the show. Let's just bring him in. This guy needs no more introduction. What's up, Shifty?
Yo, I'm good. John, how are we doing? A lot to talk about today, of course, a lot to go over, but really excited to be here. It's always a pleasure being on with you, and Thursdays are becoming a real good day. I'm really liking Thursdays now.
Yeah, Thursdays is now the day for the best show on the internet, the Candlestick Point Report on the 49ers Ultimate Reports. But before we jump into the show and talk about anything, uh, John Jay is going to start to expand. Who would have thought John Jay just have a YouTube channel? John Jay is going to introduce another YouTube channel, and we're going to have on, of course, me, Shifty, and a lot of our friends, because we talked about me and Shifty and other content creators are talking about bringing the brand together. We talked to 49ers football. So many of the fans have been complaining, oh, I have to get so many devices to watch John Jay, Shifty, and many other great content creators. So me and Shifty behind the scenes are building a brand where we'll unite a lot of content creators. So it'll be more easier for fans to watch us because there's so many channels right there out there, right there. Shifty, right? That's true, right? So many channels.
There's a ton of them, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to find sometimes almost what you're looking for because there's just so many so many different channels and people, and a lot of people do a lot of great things out there, but to kind of have it centralized is not a bad idea.
Yeah. And the reason why I want to do this is because I'm a fan of your show. You're a fan of my show, and I'm a fan of many other great content creators. And there's also a lot of fans. Like, I want to spotlight. They're not big names. They're friends of ours. We know our boy Bryant, who's in the chat right now. Our buddy Corey Davis, who every Wednesday does his pick'em videos, and of course, uh, David, David, bringing all these guys together on one platform will be more easier for us because again, you know, I can't be, watching five shows at the same time. So by consolidating everything, fans will be really happy on one show. More and more announcements will start to pop on as the season comes to an end. But it's gonna be a fun venture, especially in the off season when there's not much to talk about. So I'm very excited. So don't know how excited are you about that, Shifty?
Oh, it's definitely it's big time, to again to kind of go in I don't not a different direction, but just to have like a new direction almost in a way, where yeah, things are kind of together and more organized and easier to find for people, so, and that's like I think like that's it's a big goal.
Yeah. Let's say what's up to those in the chat and my boy Bryant, one of my favorite fans. And again, I'm a huge fan of Bryant. Also for Brian, who's out there, I enjoy our banter, our conversation, and I have the utmost respect for my boy Brian. We were talking about a lot of great stuff on Corey Davis's channel. I won't tell you what we talked about, but it's always great talking to Brian. He always, you know, every time I talk to Brian, I like Brian because we can never always agree with everything. It's always good when we disagree in the most polite way possible. And I like my boy Brian. He says John Jay and Shifty, one of the best shows of the week.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Crazy Jews out there in LA. We all know you and Shifty. We all know Rudy, the Ramilius Sports Report guy. There are no Rams fans out there. Rudy's the only one. He's the only. Oh man, because we're playing the Rams this week, and I'm shocked that there's not been a lot of Rams fans who've been goofing around in the chat. They're probably so scared.
Yeah, after what we did to them earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm. Facts. Brian says, "Cool." Crazy Jew says, "We need to beat those sorry Rams." It's
yes,
not.
We do.
Yes, we got to be really careful. This is still YouTube, so got to be really careful. Brian says, John Jay, we're friends. Wow. He considers me a friend. Again, I don't really have friends, and I'm gonna explain something to you, Shifty. I don't know how you feel about this, but friends come and go. Family is something that never goes away. So a lot of people in my life, we're not related in any type of way. I call them family. So I got a lot of friends who I consider family. They never leave. They stick with me throughout the good and the bad, parts. If I consider someone a friend, it's just, oh, it's great to meet you one day. Where we're gonna stop seeing each other. But that's one thing about the word family. Family is not something that many people think it's just, oh, the blood people in your life. No, it's the people in your life, even if they're not blood related or biologically related to you. Family is a big, big term. So I don't know how you feel about that.
I agree, man. Yeah, family's there through thick and thin, you know. Yeah, sometimes friends can come and go, but you know what? That's something that's separates it from family that they'll be there no matter what.
Yeah. Well, let's end the banter. Let's end the fun stuff. But now let's talk football, and we're gonna start off with non 49ers Thursday night football. Uh, I'm gonna be completely honest. I have not been watching a lot of the Thursday night football games. Uh, so I want to get your thoughts on the Thursday night football game, and are you gonna watch it, Shifty?
Yeah, I think it's Ravens and Buccaneers, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it simply because I mean, on paper it should be a good matchup. You know, the Buccaneers were a playoff team last year. They're not playing great. They just got clobbered by the Panthers. They just lost 21-3 to the Panthers. So you know Brady's not going to be happy about that. So I'm sure he's going to be coming out firing. And then of course you have the Baltimore Ravens, you know, Lamar Jackson, really fun offense to watch. And so I think it should be a good matchup. But these Thursday night games, I mean, last Thursday ended up scoring a whole bunch of points. It was what, Arizona and New Orleans. Um, and then so I think maybe it's trending towards some good games. We'll see, but I'll probably tune in, for the beginning of the game, and then I'll see how it goes. And if it's exciting, then I'll keep watching. If not, then I'll find probably other things to do.
One thing is that we are playing the Buccaneers this season, this off season. Again, I know a bunch of NFL, fans and podcasters in their own right, but I bumped into a Buccaneers community, and I was hanging out with them, and they were saying that they were going to go. I think one of them said they were going to go 14-3. I said, well, I think you guys are going to still win the division, but I don't think you're going to have that like a 12. And I said, if you guys are lucky, best case scenario, you guys win 11 games. But you're seeing what's going on with the Buccaneers losing to the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are rebuilding. They are starting the rebuilding process. So basically, they have nothing to lose. They know they're going to lose a lot of games. But it shows you the Buccaneers are not that team that they once were. And again, they lost a lot of players. People forget that 2020 Super Bowl, season for them. I wouldn't say it's a fluke. I think it was a product of how bad the league was in 2020, and they were the only team that were able to stay healthy. Uh, they were probably like the only stadium that had like 10 to 15% fans in the game, so they were able to have fans in the game. During the playoffs, they were able to have fans in the game, and then the Super Bowl, people watched them. So they were very lucky, in my opinion. But I'm not
Mhm.
downgrading that Super Bowl season. Winning a Super Bowl, no matter what year it is, uh, winning the Super Bowl is still a big accomplishment. But when it comes to the Buccaneers, like they're playing the Ravens, and the Ravens are also having their identity. What are they? Are they a team that Lamar Jackson carries, or are they a team that they're not good anymore and Lamar has regressed? Because I think Lamar is a good quarterback. I think he gets criticized, and I don't think there's any like a negative component because some people try to make it a black white thing, which is kind of stupid in my opinion. I just think that the way he plays, the NFL hates it because he's supposed to be in the pocket, so that he gets a lot of that bias. But Lamar Jackson has taking it. He says, I love the criticism. Make fun of how I play quarterback. Make fun of how I throw the football. Guess what? I have way more wins than a lot of those other quarterbacks in the NFL. And that's why I like Lamar Jackson. He does not care what the media thinks of him. So if Lamar carries this team and the team is awful around him, maybe that's why the Ravens are not as good as they are. And the same thing with the Buccaneers. I don't know what's wrong with the Buccaneers. We'll see what happens tonight. If I got time, I'll probably check out the game. But at the end of the day, I wish both those teams, luck. Whoever wins deserves it. That's just my thoughts about the Thursday night football game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Buccaneers are this year they're not as bad as we have been, but they've been in terms of with injuries, like they've been hit pretty hard with injuries all year long. And it just goes to show you that like you talked about 2020, that sometimes you have to be good, but you have to be lucky too. They obviously got very lucky with injuries that year. They didn't have many. So sometimes that can be, the key to making a run is that if you just avoid those critical injuries. But I think I'll be interested. I'll check out like the first quarter, maybe the first half, see how it goes, and then if it's like a good game, I'll keep watching. If not, then yeah, again, I'll find something else to do. But I'll be curious to see the Buccaneers because I know, as you said, that we play them a little bit later in the year. Both teams right now, you have to say, are kind of struggling, the Buccaneers and the 49ers. I don't think either team are nearly living up to like the hype that we would have had. I think we both teams would have expected to have a better record at this point. But that, and sometimes when your back is against the wall, that's when you see them play the best football. So I think it should be a good game tonight, but we'll see. I always like watching Lamar Jackson play just because like there's always like crazy plays are going to happen, and whether good or bad, we've seen Lamar Jackson this year, some good, some bad. But I think in general, like for Lamar, to talk about Lamar for a moment, I think he's like, I would happily take him as the 49ers quarterback. I think he's a very good player. Yeah, I think he does get unfairly criticized at times. I think, there are people who want the more traditional pocket passer, throw for 400 yards, but it's like, hey, at the end of the day, if you're winning games, that's what your job is to do.
Yeah.
So, and they've won a lot in Baltimore.
All right, let me say what's up to my boy David McNew. We were just talking about my boy David McNew. Good dude. Shout out to all the 49er faithful. Here is my final take on Lamar Jackson. When I scouted him, and again, I do scouting, and after the season ends, I'm going to do a little bit of a scout breakdown of how I scout the quarterbacks and who I think are the best quarterbacks, etc. But when it came to Lamar Jackson, he was a very specific quarterback, very rare talent. And a lot of people, just like, they criticize Trey Lance. Trey Lance in college ran 120 times. Okay. But what about his throws, his completions? Do you study those? No, they don't want to do that. So, but when you look at Lamar Jackson and the way he plays, he's always been a 64, 65% completion thrower his entire career. His coordinator is Greg Roman. I know one Baltimore Ravens fan. He's a friend of Mr. YTC's. But Greg Roman had Kaepernick and Alex Smith, and they ran a lot with them, with those two quarterbacks under Harbaugh. They ran the quarterbacks. So for him to complete the passes 64, 65% of the time, that's still a good completion. That is league average. Anything higher than 65 is league best. Anything under 64 is below average. So having a 64% completion and higher is still really good. No quarterback throws perfect passes. I know someone told me that a few weeks ago. No quarterback throws the ball perfectly. So when anyone says he doesn't throw the ball perfectly at the target, name a quarterback that does. It's very, very rare. Name a quarterback that throws the ball down the field every throw. Nobody. I was watching Aaron Rodgers against the Washington Commanders. He could not get the ball down the field. So he was throwing the same thing how Jimmy Garoppolo, checkdowns, and they lost. And a lot of people forget that. So when it comes to Lamar Jackson, he's been a 64, 65% completion percentage. He's very fast for a quarterback. Michael Vick, who played the same style, said this guy is way faster than me. That's why tacklers and defenders cannot tackle him. He is so fast. He plays like a wide receiver, not a running back. When he runs with the football, the speed that this guy has, and a lot of people who want to continue to mock and disrespect uh, Lamar Jackson, they can, if they want to, go right ahead. But if this guy wins a Super Bowl the way he does, guess what? The league is going to start drafting quarterbacks like that. And we've already seen it going back to Cam Newton. I'm sorry to the pocket passing quarterback fanatics. The league has changed. But that's all I have to say about that. And let's move on to our great topics. All right. Crazy Juice says, I like Lamar Jackson since he was in Louisville. Facts. We got Wolf Cast in the building. What's up, my boy? Wolf Cast, always in the building. I like when I talk to Wolf Cast. He's a good dude. I love his show. And if you've not subscribed to his channel, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because again, it's so weird. People watch it, they watch the show, but they never subscribe to it. It makes me angry why people don't do that. But subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. He says, "What's up, everybody? What's up, Wolf Cast?
What's up, Wolf Cast? Good to see you, man."
All right, now we got to talk about the elephant in the room. I want to get Shifty's thoughts, his opinions about what happened Sunday with the Kansas City Chiefs. Just if you want to talk about it, if you want to rant, feel free to do so.
It's with the game, I thought it started out really well, almost perfectly. Like the first drive, unfortunately, stalled out, had to settle for a field goal. Then we get the big interception. We score a touchdown. We're up 10-0, and we're feeling pretty great about ourselves. And then after that, it just kind of started to go downhill. I mean, really, after that, the defense, great, interception, great play by Gibson. Deshaun Gibson, knocked the ball up. Hufanga, nice, really nice interception, athletic play. But after that, the defense couldn't do a damn thing. Like Kansas City averaged over 9 yards per play. That's almost a first down every single play. And look, the offense is far from perfect. The interception by Garoppolo is just insane. Like that was just an awful throw. Number one, he had Jeff Wilson Jr. wide open, and he sees the blitz, basically the zero, like everyone's coming after him, and Jeff Wilson Jr. is right there, but he doesn't look his way at all. He throws this weird, kind of getting hit, and just chucks it up, and it never had a chance. Gets intercepted, and then you can't do that, and look, people will say, well, the Garoppolo, this is what Garoppolo, it's like, I don't care. Like you have to either throw it to Jeff Wilson Jr., take the sack, or just throw the ball away. And because any points against Kansas City, look, you never want to trade field goals for touchdowns against Kansas City. We know that. But at the time of that interception, it was 13-14 to the Chiefs. You could imagine if we score, let's say, even a field goal at halftime, we could be up 16-14. I thought in general, the offense moved the ball pretty well through the course of the game. And here's the thing. I think McCaffrey, really nice impact. He was able to hit those holes that we were creating in the run blocking game, and he could really make use of that. So I think moving forward, he's going to be really, really good. But the defense, man, look, and I'll criticize the offense. They were far from perfect. They had some bad drops. They had some, bad plays. The Garoppolo interception, goddamn awful, and should be fairly criticized, and absolutely is getting criticized and should be. But the defense they looked helpless, man. Like they couldn't do a damn thing. Nick Bosa looked completely lost out there, which I don't think I've ever seen Nick Bosa in a 49ers uniform kind of look lost on the field. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, they needed to have a huge game to slow down Travis Kelce and just to be there and stopping the run. They seem to always be a step behind, and that's not good. Honestly, I think Fred Warner has been not great this year. Let's be honest. Fred Warner was the guy in 2020 and 2019. He had amazing years and was an all-pro, but the way he's been playing lately, not good enough for what he's making, for what his that what we expect from a guy like Fred Warner from what we've seen in the past. He's not playing up to par. Hufanga had the great interception, missed a couple of tackles. Charvarius Ward, easily his worst game as a 49er, maybe still dealing with the groin issue, but he got toasted, on that deep pass. And overall, man, it was just the defense I was so disappointed in, really disappointed, because it seemed like after, and even at points when we could get right back in the game, they were just like, well, we can't. They're like, we can't stop Kansas City. So,
Mhm.
and like something. And look, we kind of saw this last year too. We saw this last year, and I think you already know what game I'm going to talk about, John, is the game against the Cardinals,
Mhm.
and that was Colt freaking McCoy. And I was watching that game, and the team didn't have any fight. Like no one was like, let's make a freaking tackle here, let's make a play. And it was just, they just all seemed like, well, we can't stop them, so whatever. And that was really disappointing. Now, I'd like to think that I'm sure all week long that in the meetings and everything defensively, I'm sure D'Amico Ryans and the defensive coaches are like, that effort is embarrassing.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know what that was, but that ain't the 49er defense. And so it's just, there's a lot to learn. And I think the one thing which kind of always gives me like a little bit of like, okay, I think things will be okay, is because this time last year we were 3-4. We had just beat the Chicago Bears in Chicago,
Mhm.
and then we come back home and we lose to the Colt McCoy led Cardinals. And we were 3-5 last year. And maybe people aren't aware of that, but last year we were 3-5 too, and then we were able to figure it out. So
Yeah.
this year, we to move on to the Rams a little bit, and I'll
Mhm.
obviously want to hear your thoughts on the Chiefs game too, but if we can get a win here, that's huge,
Yeah.
because look, 4-4, but our division record on the season would then be 3-0. Then we have a bye week.
Mhm.
Maybe then we get a couple of guys come back healthy, and then we have a ton of home games the second half of the year. And the second half of the year, the schedule not that difficult. So
Yeah. Like, first, I want to address the Cole McCoy game last year. I'm still angry about that game, and like I thought in 2020, the Dolphins' loss in 2020 was god awful. Then I saw the Cole McCoy game, and Cardinals fans still hold that over us. I know a bunch of Cardinals fans, and they still, hey, what? Do you remember Cole McCoy? They always do that. So hopefully, the Niners, when we ever play the Cardinals, I think 3 weeks, 2 3 weeks from now, we beat them with Kyler Murray. Hey, it's sad. We own Kyler Murray. Yada yada. But I will digress and move on from that. When it comes to this game, the Niners had a 10-point lead, and the Niners hit the brakes on offense. They hit the brakes on offense. Once we were up 10-0, run the football, get the first down, get the short yardage, have Jimmy throw the ball short as we move the ball down the field. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. Why? Because Kyle is Kyle. Kyle decides, I'm going to look at my playbook and I'm going to continue to read the playbook and do whatever I want. He never adjusts. He doesn't want to do it. In my community tab, I left the picture of Kyle Shanahan at halftime when he's losing, after the third quarter when he's losing. He has a bad record when he's trailing. So it's really awful why the Niners cannot win. And people can say, oh, because we don't have the right quarterback. Again, Kyle should find ways when you're trailing. You go to any coach in the NFL. When you are trailing, do you go with your playbook? No, you go with a different. You go back to plays at work and you use those to go down the field. You don't run the football no more. And there's a lot of people say, oh, we got to run the football. Well, when you're down, especially with the Chiefs, and you're taking away a lot of time off the clock, that's not something you want to do. So you have to force and throw the football down the field. Of course, Trent Williams made two bad mistakes. The interception that Jimmy threw, and when Jimmy got sacked, okay, that happened. We're not forgiving it. Come on, Trent Williams. The two question is, why did you not see your assignment? or were you hurt? Or you rushed to play? Were you rushed to play? Because Trent Williams did not look good. So we take away all the little details, but many people don't want to talk about that. Mike McGlinchey had a bunch of penalties and a bunch of missed coverages. So that's the offense. Christian McCaffrey, we will talk about him more, but he was the bright spot in only a day and a half of being in San Francisco. Uh, he played a lot. He played a lot. I thought he was not going to get a lot of playing. He played a lot. So that's a good bright spot for the future. Looks like we finally have someone who can use their speed and get the first down and not rely on just one bell cow running back. Now we have a lot of options at the running back position. Let's talk about the defense. Charvarius Ward, I'm still angry about that play. And I saw it live. I saw it right there. And it did not even look like Patrick Mahomes like threw the football. It just aired it out. He just aired the ball out. And Charvarius Ward gave 10 yards, 5 to 10 yards of open space to allow that completion. So a lot of bad things happen. The corners were allowing a lot of open space. It was just hard to sink like what try to understand what to comprehend from that game, because I was watching that game, I was speechless, I didn't know what to say, I was angry, and I don't know why the Niners just you know I don't know what to say. If you
I
have
think,
anything,
no,
go ahead.
I agree with what you're saying, man. Yeah, like a lot of players who needed to step up, they didn't. And you talk about that Charvarius Ward play. So we look at that play. Let's look at the situation. The Niners had just scored a touchdown. It was like the start of the fourth quarter, basically. The score was 28 Chiefs, 23 49ers. We just scored a touchdown. We're down 5. On that drive, first play, Bosa actually sacks Mahomes. Second play, I think it was an incomplete. The third play, so it's I think it was like 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 12. We have a chance to get them to go 3 and out. Our offense just went down the field and scored a touchdown. Can we get them off the field on 3rd and 11? No, we can't, because it's a 50-yard pass that just looked way too easy. Earlier in the game, in the third quarter, 3rd and 20. 3rd and 20. And they do a little screen pass to Jerick McKinnon, of all players, ex-49er. And nothing special. And I think some of the players, like when the play was ran immediately, I think some of the players recognized, oh, this is a screen pass. Yet they just couldn't get off their blocks. They couldn't do anything. And then he goes for like 30 yards, almost scores a touchdown. I don't really know. I think partly it was Andy Reid and the offensive coaching staff in Kansas City just made DeMeco Ryans look really bad. I don't know. It always seemed like Kansas City, their players were wide open most of the game, and I think this is something that, like, the only way the 49ers have to use this as like a learning experience where they're like, look, you can be humbled in the NFL any given week. And that's what happened. We were absolutely, especially defensively, because even me, I was very confident when I heard, of course, Bosa is going to be back. Charvarius Ward is playing. Jimmy Ward is back. I was like, not that I think we would shut down Kansas City, but going into the game, I thought Kansas City would probably score about 30 on us. Mm-hmm. They ended up scoring 44. Now, 2 of it was from the safety, but they scored 6 touchdowns. And it was just chunk play. And they just made it look really easy. And I understand if we kind of went into the game thinking, the Niners defense isn't that great, like we're okay at best, but we were one of the top defenses in the NFL, and we certainly didn't look like it. That's like, I think, just a really frustrating aspect of it too. And but we also do things that really screw us over as well. Like we do things like, so to start the second half, for some reason, and I don't know why the special teams coordinators don't just say, kick the ball through the end zone so that way it's a touchback. We don't do that very often. So to start the second half, we kick it off. They take it up just about the 50-yard line, and then Jawan Jennings comes along and is like, oh, the player's been out of bounds for running out of bounds for a while. Let me go and shove him. And it's like, look, when you're against Kansas City, that's like, you have to be incredibly disciplined. Like, it's already tough enough and difficult enough to beat them. But then you go and screw yourself and be like, hey, Kansas City, here's free 15 yards, and then it was like from there, it was just all downhill.
My boy Carcass is in the building. What is up, Carcass? How are you doing? He says, "Yo, I might be late, but I never miss John Jay's show. No worries, man. You can always watch the replay. No one, no one is forced to be here live. If you're able to take time from your busy schedule to watch the show, no worries, Carcass. No worries. All right, let's talk about a little bit of a positive. And Christian McCaffrey, basically, uh, just about a week ago, like not even a week yet, McCaffrey uh, was announced that we were trading a lot of draft capital to get McCaffrey. So we're going to talk about his performance, what he did against the Chiefs. And at first, they said that McCaffrey had 18 snaps, but after everything was said and done, he was in 22 snap plays. Out of those 22 snap plays, 12 snap plays, he was not involved on either receiving or rushing the ball. He did have 10 touches, which I thought was way more than I anticipated. Had 8 rushing attempts, 2 receiving attempts. Uh, he also had a total of 62 yards. Looking at how many times he was on the field, are you surprised? Are you not surprised? And what is your grade for Christian McCaffrey?
I would say, I mean, if I had to give him a grade, I would say like a B plus, A minus. I mean, especially when you give the context of the entire situation where, yeah, he was only in the 49ers locker room for like a day or a day and a half. I thought he played really well. And I thought you can tell that he's just one of those guys who's just a very good football player where, he was able to like read his assignments really well in terms of running the ball. Like the first few runs, it was like 10 yards, 11 yards, So overall, I think he's going to be a huge addition to the team. I think this game against the Rams, he's going to be a huge part of it. I think I read earlier that he's going to be essentially given like the whole playbook and everything. So we'll probably see a lot more of Christian McCaffrey, which is good as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I think he's like a fun player to watch. Glad he's on our team. We could still argue and debate like, oh, do we really need to trade for him? Blah, blah, blah. But I think that's, something that we'll have to really judge it like at the end of the season. Like how much of an impact does McCaffrey actually have? I think he is going to have a big one. I think we're going to see, so he had 10 touches in the game against Kansas City. I think in the game against this Sunday, I think he'll have between 15 and 20. It's really going to depend on if Debo plays or not, because I know he has a hamstring injury. But I think the second half of the year is where you're going to see McCaffrey like just explode, where I think he's going to have great games.
Mm-hmm. Like here is my thoughts about Christian McCaffrey. I think he went beyond what we 49er fans were going to expect. I know there were some people who said, hey, play McCaffrey, the 65 snaps, the 70 snaps on the offense. But 22 snaps is basically way more than I thought. I thought he was going to be on maybe 10 to 15 snaps at the most. I thought they were going to use them in mostly goal line situations, things like that. I didn't think he was going to get any receptions. I thought they were going to be very cautious with them. But only on the second play of the game, McCaffrey comes in there, gets the first down. McCaffrey, again, we were not able to see McCaffrey live on the games with Carolina because, they don't show Carolina games where we live. But one thing about McCaffrey was the speed that he has, how fast he is. And when it comes to McCaffrey, like I get why he is worth the draft capital, the speed. When that guy has open space, he uses that speed and he's very, very explosive. So I'm glad he's on this team. And I think he's going to alleviate the workload on all the other running backs. Because again, the Niners need 3 running backs. Okay, 3 running backs. So as long as Jeff Wilson gets 10 to 12 touches, running the ball, maybe like 2-3 catches, and you give McCaffrey the same amount so you don't overwork these guys. They'll still use Debo in run play, so you'll see how many playmakers and how dangerous we can be now with that. So 22 snaps, beyond my expectations. 10 touches, 2 rushes. 2 receivings and 62 yards. I give him an A plus. 1.5 days before Sunday. 1.5 days before Sunday, and he's on the field, 22 touches. For anyone who still thinks McCaffrey it was not worth those picks, I was sold on Sunday. I was sold on Sunday. This guy is going to be a beast for the 49ers. I am so thrilled this guy is with the 49ers. So overall, uh, I'm going to say something a very strong take. McCaffrey is going to make the offense way more dangerous. We finally found that spark player. No disrespect to Debo, Ayuk, and George Kittle. This guy is gonna, and also for those who don't like Jimmy Garoppolo, now with McCaffrey, we won't have to see Jimmy having to throw the ball deep anymore because a lot of people are still scared when he throws the football. So, very excited. Any final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think he's going to be a great addition to the offense, and I think once he really gets acclimated, to like our playbook and everything, I think, and I really can't stress that it's going to be through the bye week when I want to say like Kyle Shanahan and Anthony Lynn can really incorporate plays like specifically for McCaffrey. And we'll see different formations and things like that. So overall, I would say a very good performance, all things considered. And what I like to, he's very decisive in what he's doing. Like, and he just has a good feel for the game where like you can see sometimes where the way the blocking is going, you see maybe Jeff Wilson Jr. or TDP or whatever, they don't go where they should go. They go where like they take the wrong cut or whatever. But McCaffrey, bam, takes the right cut, good speed, and I think he's going to really help out the offense. And look, and we have to be real too. This isn't like a 1 year rental or nothing. Like this is McCaffrey's under contract for the next couple of years after this season too. So I think he's really going to help out Trey Lance next year as well. So I think it was the trade. I think it was we did give up, I think, quite a lot, but overall at the end of the day, it's like we got a really, really good player, and I think he's really going to help us out.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Fialua60, also known as Soli684, out in the great state of Hawaii. I can't believe it's only 10 o'clock in the morning still over there. It's already 1 in the afternoon. So, anyway, shout out to all the Hawaiians. Of course, aloha and mahalo.
Aloha.
I learned that from someone that I met during my YouTube journey. It means those are some great Hawaiian words. He says, Aloha, John Jay, and Shifty. Thank you for tuning in,
Thank you.
Fialua 60. All right, so now we got some topics from the previous game to talk about. Uh, and let's talk about the offensive line because, again, I've been very critical with the offensive line. I will never stop being critical with the offensive line. When I was much, much way younger, I used to think that the offensive line was a worthless position. I said, just get quarterbacks and wide receivers. I didn't even give the respect to the running backs because when I was younger, me and my friends were the quarterbacks and wide receivers. We did not like playing any other positions, flag football, yada yada. And we got older, we understood how important offensive line was. But back to the topic, uh, the performance. What did you see? What did you not see? Were there a lot of mistakes? Did you see something positive? Because I saw nothing positive. Your thoughts on the offensive line?
Well, to start off with a positive, I thought Aaron Banks was really good. I thought Aaron Banks played a really, really solid game. Didn't give up any pressures. Um, didn't give up any sacks. I thought he was really good. Trent Williams, I think you alluded to something a little bit earlier where I think he probably came back a week too soon. I feel like him being a captain, he probably wanted to be out there for that big home game when it's like it's against Kansas City. We have all the people like the 2012 team, the Bryant Young, ceremony and all that, where he probably felt like he needed to be out there. And um, so I don't think he was 100%. But at the end of the day, some of the plays that, he let up were, it's just, if you're that hurt, then you get, and if you're a detriment to the team, then you have to take yourself out. McGlinchey, awful. No doubt about that. Brendel, not great. Burford didn't really stand out to me either way, bad or good. I mean, the Chiefs do have a pretty a pretty decent. They have like two very good players in Chris Jones and Frank Clark, and like they can get after the quarterback. I also thought Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for Kansas City, some really well timed blitzes too, where the Niners clearly were not anticipating it. But overall, you have to say that it was a fairly poor performance. Could have been a lot better. Although, when you look at the stats, I think like the running, like you look at like the yards per carry were pretty solid. We did have a decent amount of yards, like even like throwing the football, but I think it was a combo of just some like boneheaded plays at like the worst times too, especially by McGlinchey, Brendel, and Trent Williams as well. Just it's just really not good enough, and like some of these guys need to be better. And if we want to have success down the stretch, we have to get better. And I think the offensive line, it's very much a work in progress. But to me, I wouldn't be shocked if after the bye week, or maybe even against the Rams, maybe we see a little bit of Daniel Brunskill at center. Maybe they just try and mix it up a little bit. But because I think we'll see Brunskill in there for sure, because we know what Brunskill can do to Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
But the offensive line performance in general, definitely subpar.
Let me say what's up to my boy Sergeant Bubbly, or known as Bubbly Doggy or Dodge, whatever. What's up, Sergeant Bubbly? He says Niners. Oh, damn day. That's right. All right. Fialua says, our interior playing better that our tackles, or I think he tried to say than our tackles. I agree with that. The tackles, again, and I said a joke, during the game, like, oh, Mike McGlinchey, he'll probably not return next year because, man, like, I've tried my best to give Mike McGlinchey the benefit of the doubt. I've tried every year. I got a good friend, one of my followers on my channel, who says that some of the podcasters are a little bit too harsh on McGlinchey. So but McGlinchey, he's not a good pass blocker. I don't know if he's ever been the same after that calf injury. Even before that, but when we run the football, he's able to anchor himself and push these pass rushers down the field to open up lanes and allow the runners to get a lot of rushing yards. But when it comes to passing, protecting, again, many people say Jimmy Garoppolo is horrible. If your offensive line is horrible, it's going to be an indicator of your quarterback. So that's my thoughts about the offensive line. Williams looked out of shape from the beginning of the season. That's a really, really good take. I'm not sure. Have you seen Trent Williams a little bit out of shape? Shifty, I want to get your thoughts. It's a really good.
I don't know. I don't notice anything like out of the ordinary compared to how he like normally is. But he has been out for like a number of weeks now, so I think it's just him kind of getting back into that, like the speed of like a football game. And he has an ankle injury, so that probably means that he hasn't been able to work out as much as he would like. And so I think, like, especially against the Chiefs, he didn't look like his normal self. But to me, I would guess that the ankle's probably still bothering him, and the fact that like it's been like a month since he's really played a game.
So we got Cool Whip is in the building. What is up, Cool Whip? Thanks for tuning in. It's always great. All the 49er faithfuls to always hop in, even if they're on for 1 minute or the entire show. Cool Whip says McGlinchey is terrible. I have to agree with Cool Whip. I have to. I'm sorry. I don't know why, but like, why? I don't know. I'm not gonna even stress myself out with that, but I have to agree with that. All right. Niners all damn day. The real Niners all damn day. Shout out to Niners all damn day. The best name on YouTube. Niners all damn day says Williams should be back to looking good again. I think him being out all those weeks, you lose some strength, and that's probably true. Like he left the Broncos game. I think he missed like maybe 3 weeks. 3 weeks, I think. He came back, and again, if Mike McGlinchey, I know Mike McGlinchey, like, I want to say this as a former athlete and even to defend uh, Trent Williams. I don't know why I said Mike McGlinchey, my bad. To defend Trent Williams is that these players want to be out there. They want to play. They want to play. And sometimes they're more a danger to themselves and their health than what they want to do. Because when I played sports, I had cuts and bruises after practices. I had scrapes. I was sore all the time when I played. It was part of the game, and I would force myself. One time, me and a friend had a competition to see who could stay out the longest. But eventually, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if me or a Pro Bowler who's been in the league who can play tackle way better than I can. These players need to be, sometimes you have to step in for the safety of themselves. And one time, George Kittle in the 2020 season said, "Why are you returning? Why are you coming back, George Kittle? The season's over. You guys are not going to the playoffs." It's a reminder. It's a reminder that these players want to be out there. So maybe he wanted to be out there and he didn't look good. I'm sorry. Maybe after working out more, getting 100% healthy, I think Trent Williams will be the Trent Williams we all know. Fialua says, I've been saying move McGlinchey to guard. Hey, if you put him at guard and he works, put him at guard. Find a position that works for him. But anyway, let's move on to the biggest topic this entire week: overreaction. I had to write overreaction or underreaction, but overreaction. Are we overreacting? Are we underreacting? But overreaction. Is this an overreaction? Kyle Shanahan can coach while trailing. Your thoughts, Shifty? Go ahead. Uh, what are your thoughts?
I know the numbers would definitely say that he struggles a lot when we're losing. I think the stat was if we're down 3 or more entering the fourth quarter, we're like 1 in 20 something with him, or some crazy number like that. Which you'd think so, yeah. I don't know. I'd have to kind of go back and like rewatch a lot of those games to see what happened, but I think that I don't know. There's just something about it where like it definitely seems like we tend to lose a lot of games in the fourth quarter. We haven't done well in the second half in terms of scoring a lot. Um, but I think you have to keep in mind too that like it's a team sport as well. So like everything comes into play here, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, and like as much as there's certainly a trend here. So I could understand like an argument when people say, well, he struggles a lot when we're down, and I think he does. I think that was something that I was kind of hoping that when we brought in a guy like Anthony Lynn, that like someone who's been a head coach in the NFL, and maybe that should be something that we should consider, that maybe bring in an advise, I don't know, something like that, but someone who's been there, done that, where they're like, hey, look, Kyle, just let's calm down, let's stay in our game and do our thing, and let's come away with a win here. But I don't. It seems like the team definitely struggles when we're down, and I think a lot of that too comes down to relying on quarterbacks who are at best mediocre. For we think about it, where it's like his entire time with San Francisco, like if you're losing and if you have Nick Mullins, if you have CJ Beathard and Jimmy Garoppolo, like these guys are not great quarterbacks. Jimmy, I think you could argue at best is like a middle of the road guy at best. But Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard, they haven't even sniffed a game with the other teams they've been at. So I just, I think it's partly that. But I don't know. There's definitely questionable decisions, of course. And I think something that where I was like very critical of Kyle Shanahan was against Atlanta, down 2 touchdowns, 10 minutes left in the game, and we're taking our sweet ass time to move the ball down the field, so there's that, which is not good. Now, I think when it comes down to it with Kyle Shanahan too, and like I'll say it for like this season, that you know a lot has gone wrong, so like so far this year. And I think he's the head coach, so he has to take a big amount of the responsibility for that. But you think about it where it's like, and this is probably going to sound like a bunch of excuses, but coming into the season, it was like Trey Lance is going to be our quarterback. And he said that, back in August or July, he's like, Trey Lance is our guy. That the whole offseason they were thinking we're either going to trade Garoppolo or we're going to cut him or something. We were all saying that, and I'm sure the Niners probably thought that too. But the whole offense and all offseason long, they're tailoring the offense around Trey Lance, which would be airing the ball out a little bit more, having the quarterback run with the ball, a lot of different plays. Suddenly, first quarter, week 2, bam, that's all out the window. Not only that, George Kittle had missed the first 3 games. Trent Williams, I mean, a lot of our key guys have been in and out. These guys haven't really, how much have the guys who are out there actually practiced together? You know what I mean? Like this year, like it's, oh, this guy's out this week. Oh, and now Juszczyk, he's out for this game. Oh, Debo might be out this, and all these key players, it's like you can't get into any kind of rhythm. And I think that's something that with Shanahan, it kind of takes, you have to get into that. Now, let's be real, he deserves a lot of responsibility with a lot of these records, because he's not only the head coach, but also the offensive play caller. So I would like to see a case of maybe, and maybe it needs to be a case of like Anthony Lynn, where it's like, hey, you got to step up and like in those moments, go to Kyle, be like, here's what we need to do. Like, we need to settle down, calm down, and let's just think it out. But in and out does sound really good.
Yeah.
But
That's
but yeah,
true.
I think that I don't think that he can't coach. I mean, I think he still does like a decent job, but um, you know, uh, he has to take responsibility. And a lot of times it seems like in these press conferences, he'll like, well, it was anything else but him.
Yeah. So, Cool Whip said a funny joke. Sign Waterboy Bobby Boucher to replace
Bobby
Michael Lynch.
Boucher.
Yeah, Adam Sandler, like, like you know, I'm
That's
not gonna
funny.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. When I was a kid, I remember they would show that movie all the time on all those cable channels, and so imagine if there was a real Bobby Boucher and who can play guard or tackle. Why not? Albuquerque
Hey,
Turkey. Albuquerque Turkey says, "What's up, John Jay? Uh, Car Apollo, Car Apollo, Car Apollo. Uh, I
Garoppolo.
don't know if you're comparing Jimmy Garoppolo to Derek Carr, but Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. I had this conversation with I don't know if he's still in the chat. What's his name? Bryant. Bryant's not a big Carr fan. I'm a big Carr fan. It's just that we know the Raiders, and the Raiders have not had a top 10 defense since 2002. The last time they were in the Super Bowl. They've had a lot of great defensive players, but their defense has never been really good. So I give a little bit of a pass to Carr, and a lot of people get very, very angry for me. So I don't even go there. But I think Derek Carr on the Niners, he can throw the ball deep. He's a bit more mobile than Jimmy. I've seen Carr run many times. It's just that he's on the Raiders, and that doesn't say much. And to
Yeah.
any Raider fan, especially my friend, if he's watching, because he just started subscribing to my channel recently. He's a big Raider fan. He said, "Hey, don't talk about my Raiders." So that's about it.
There we
Uh,
go.
yeah. And then speaking of In and Out, In and Out sounds good. I'm hungry. Have you ever been to In and Out, Shifty?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been to the one in Daly City. I've been to the one in
Yeah.
by like Fisherman's Wharf
Mhm.
too. I like In and Out.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, the one in Daly City, shout out to my current residence at the moment. But I am from the native city, but that's my current resident. I drive by it all the time. I walk. It's nearby where I live. So uh, haven't gone to In and Out in a while, so I may have to probably go this weekend. You know, but it's been a while since I've had In and Out. All right, diners all damn day says Jimmy is car up.
He is crap.
Car. Anyway, cool. Oh, CJ Beathard. Yeah, CJ Beathard.
That ship has sailed, my friend.
That CJ Beathard. Anyway, that was anyway. Let's move on, and now let's talk about the second matchup and the final matchup of the year. Man, I wish they start to space out these NFC West matchups because last year we played the Cardinals twice in 3 weeks, which was weird. They beat us both times, so that was not fun. And now we're playing the Rams in twice in I think in a 5 week period, 4 or 5 week period. They got to space out these games way more. Uh, we don't play the Cardinals until like the second half near the end of the year, and we finish with the Cardinals at the end of the season. So, I want these games to be more spread out. But this is the final matchup of the year, the second matchup of the year. We so far are 1-0. So my questions, I have a few questions you can answer. Will we sweep them? And what are your thoughts about this 49ers and Rams preview?
I think that we will. I think this game is going to be a lot closer. I think we beat them. Was it 31-9 last time? Maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember the exact score. But I think this game will be a lot closer because here's the thing. The Rams are coming off their bye week. So they've had extra time to rest, get healthy. 24-9, was it, Bubbly? Okay. But at the end of the day, I think that the Rams are going to be very well prepared for this game, coming off their bye week. They're going to look at what Kansas City did and try and basically do that. Now, the big question is, can the 49ers adjust and actually make some plays? Now, I think it's a whole different ball game playing Patrick Mahomes versus Matt Stafford. And like the Chiefs offense, they have weapons everywhere. Even guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, McCole Hardman, Travis Kelce, they have some good running backs too. So the Chiefs are definitely a lot more difficult to slow down. I do like our matchups for the most part, especially if Jason Verrett can go, but it sounds like he's been activated, but it sounds like we're probably going to wait till after the bye week to actually have him out there. So, but we need to we need to kind of limit what Cooper Kupp in terms of the overall damage that he does to us. But I do like our chances just because we have a certain level of like ownership over the Rams too. So I think that we should be able to win this game, and if we can, that would be really massive for our team to go into a bye week with some positive momentum and looking to build on the rest of the season. But it's a big game for like very early in the season, and every game you could argue is every game is important, which it is, but this one just feels like, man, we really need to win this game because what really comes down to it is, and I think the NFC West is going to be close all year long. Seattle, they're playing very good football. Arizona, they rebounded a little bit against New Orleans, but I think that like having the better division record is going to be really huge for all the tiebreakers that end up coming along at the end of the season. So if we can beat them, and yeah, Niners all damn day made a good point just now. He said that, look, it's basically a home game. We know the Niner fans, they come out when there's a game in LA. So if we can get that win, I'll be very, very happy. I don't care if we win the game 7-6, but if we can get a win, winning kind of cures all. We can get a win, get into the bye week, reevaluate what we're doing, and then head on into the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Albuquerque Turkey says Jeff Garcia is practicing to try out for the Niners. Yeah, I wish that was true. Plus, he's also, I think the guy's in his 50s now. So, yeah, too late. That ship has sailed. Philly Sports Talk Podcast. This guy is a Philadelphia sports podcaster. Shifty, you got to check him out. He's a good dude. He's part of that Spotlight Sports Network. Good dude. He's very excited because I know his Phillies are in the World Series. They're 4 games away to become World Series champion. If they win the series, that'll be their 3rd in franchise history, I think. I don't know. Philly Sports, let me know how many titles they have. His Eagles are undefeated. Our team is not, so we can't say nothing bad about the Eagles. So shout out to my boy Philly Sports Talk Podcast. All right. Niners, all damn day says it's a home game. Yep. And then Corey Davis. Shout out to Corey Davis. Yesterday we did the pick'ems on his show. If you guys want to hang out with my boy Corey Davis, Wednesdays, sometimes he does on Sundays after the game, but Wednesdays, check out his channel. All you gotta do is type in Corey Davis and just want to hang out and pick who's going to win the games and just talk 49ers football. Feel free to join Corey Davis. All right. Niners, all damn day says Phillies on. All right. Spotlight Sports Network is no more. I'm with Hardcore Sports Network. Never heard of that. Never heard of that. I got to go check that thing out. All right. Niners, all damn day. Hell yeah. Philadelphia Eagles fan is saying that. Albuquerque Turkey says Eagles will lose to the Cowboys and some other team. Wow. Someone likes the Cowboys? I'm just joking. I'm joking. All right. Here are my thoughts about this game. Do I think we're going to sweep the Rams? I want that to happen. I want to sweep the Rams. Will it happen? Of course, anything is possible. We can lose, we can win. Everything is possible. One thing the 49ers, for whatever the reason, we own this team. Now, Rams fans will say, well, we own you where it matters the most, the NFC Championship game. So they have that over us. But if for whatever the reason, the Niners beat the Rams, we own them. We just own them. They are our sons. Little joke. They're our sons. Bow down to your fathers. Because we own them. One thing I want to see in this game is our defense. Back-to-back losses to the Falcons, a rebuilding team, and a Kansas City Chiefs team that's very dangerous. So when you look at what's been going on with the defense does not look great. The defense has to step up in this game. Who ever thought I would say the defense was going to be a concern that I have? I would say Jimmy Garoppolo is a concern I have every week, but who would have thought the defense? I would say the defense is my concern. So when I preview this game, it's going to be how the defense plays against the Rams. Because if the Rams beat us, it's going to be a long year. It's going to be bad for us. So this game is very important. Every game from now on is very important for the Niners. If we win, it's good for us. If we lose, it's bad for us. Because again, the season, everyone had so much high hopes, and the season has not gone the way the fans wanted to. So this is a very important game. Let's get the sweet 49er fans and the defense. Hopefully they show up and remind the Rams that we are your daddies. Oh, man.
Love it.
All right. Okay, let's go back to the comments. All right. Let's see. Where was the last comment? Eagles will lose. Okay. Niners all damn days talking about the Eagles. Eagles could go undefeated. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Philly says Albuquerque, Turkey. I would disagree. The Cowboys, with the Cowboys, but the Giants may be our best test. Okay. All right. Albuquerque, Turkey says Cowboys will take care of the Eagles. And all right, Albuquerque, Turkey. We'll see the better team. Okay. All right. Rams are the Niners. Yep. Let's not even use that word. Yeah, hopefully YouTube did not see that. Albuquerque Turkey says, I'm pulling for Philly to beat the A-holes. All right. That's a little bit more better. All right. Now, let's talk about players to spotlight. Not to spotlight. That have to step up. For the 49ers. Name me some players that need to step up, or just highlight one player. But as many players that you want. Of course, we'll leave Jimmy Garoppolo out because we know who he is. So without Jimmy Garoppolo, there are still 52 players who has to step up in this game.
I think that the first player that I really want to see step up and have like just a big time game, it's Fred Warner. Fred Warner, honestly, I think last year and this year he's been like very underwhelming, and it's one of those things where we have like very high expectations for Fred Warner because we've seen how good he can play in the past. So I want to see Fred Warner have an interception, force a fumble, couple of tackles for loss, things of that nature. Really like lock down a guy like Tyler Higbee, who we know with the Rams he gets targeted a lot. Other guy defensively, I'd like to see Charvarius Ward rebound. Mooney Ward needs to rebound in a big way. He against the Chiefs did not look good at all. He was targeted 6 times, gave up 6 receptions. Really, really unlike him. So hopefully he can rebound and have a big game. Looking more offensively, I want to see Trent Williams like look like the Trent Williams that we know. That's going to be a big thing, really holding down, because we're going to need to give McCaffrey running lanes. We're going to need to give Jeff Wilson Jr. running lanes and Garoppolo some time to throw the ball. And I think just a lot of like the star players, Jimmy Ward, another one of our captains, he needs to step up and play better. I think offensively, I would like to see us, of course, we're going to get McCaffrey involved. We know Juszczyk isn't going to be out there. Debo looks a little bit iffy. I'm not sure if he practiced today, but we need to get, Kittle, Ayuk. I think it's like, we like rate these players very highly. We all say Ayuk's a great player, Debo, Kittle. I think they need to start like proving it, and like Ayuk and Kittle in particular were very, they were very critical that were like, hey, with all these great players, we need to get the ball in our hands. And maybe that's a bit of a shot at Kyle or Jimmy or whoever, but these guys need to start making some big plays. When you look at the Kittle needs to, what he did against Kansas City was like 80, 90 yards, a touchdown. Like that's kind of what we expect from George Kittle, But I think our star players just really have to step up and make those big time plays because we all talk about them. We all talk about how many players we have in the NFL top 100, but now they need to start playing like it. So, hopefully all those guys step up. And if they step up, then I think everything else is going to go pretty smoothly. I do think that we are a better, team than the Rams overall. But look, we've seen it. We can't write off any team. Like any team can beat us. We can beat any team as well. But I think if the star players step up and make some big plays, then that'll really, really help us out.
Yeah, Niners all damn day says need to catch more passes. Yep, I agree. We've been dropping a lot of balls from Jimmy Garoppolo, which is all his critics, continue. Hey, yes, anyway, but we won't even talk about that. Now, one thing I want to say is that Kinlaw is going to be out for a while. Do not know when Eric Armstead is going to be back. And when I look at the interior of the 49ers, that's going to be a position that we have to address either in the draft or in free agency because I think Javon Kinlaw is done with the 49ers. I would trade him for a third-round selection, get some value for him. Remember, like I said, he could do better and burn us in the future, but for us right now, we cannot have this guy continue to be on IR, and injure all the time. I've said it. DeForest Buckner, you should have paid this guy what he wanted because he was worth it. Buckner was our important defensive tackle player we let go. Eric Armstead had one good year when the entire line had Pro Bowl talented players, and Eric Armstead had his best season. He was a cheaper option, but he has not lived up to the expectations since 2019, and he's been hurt. He's been really, really hurt. It's time for us to address the middle of the line. But during this game, because I talked about the defensive line, our defensive tackle has to step up. Ridgeway, also Givens, and Akeem Spence. They have to step up. The interior of the defensive line has to step up. We've been allowing a lot of rushes. And for whatever the reason, I don't know what's wrong with our defensive tackles, but they have to step up. All right. Our corners, they have to step up too. They made a bunch of mistakes. So when it comes to our corners, they have to also step up, in my opinion, on the defensive side of the ball. We got some comments. I want to say what's up to Phil Lewis says, sorry, been busy with work. I've been listening. No worries. And again, you guys don't have to watch the show live. If you guys are working, busy, everyone has lives. I don't expect everyone to be in. But thank you very much for still listening too. We got Celts Chronicle. Long time no see, man. Hopefully you're doing all right, man, because I have not seen you on my channel. Let me know if everything's all right with you, or just let me know that you were working or with family. But I'm glad to finally see you pop in here because, man, I was worried about this dude. I've been worried about this dude. Kelt says, what's up, Jay, Shifty, and Faithful Debo? Was the element of surprise last year. 7-2 run. CMC is a spark, but no surprise this year could get ugly. Boast always. I'm optimistic. Thank you very much, Kels. I like that comment. Hopefully, CMC gives that Niners what the Debo effect did last year. So I agree with them, and I will always support this team. Always be faithful because I've been told by some faithfuls that they're boycotting the 49ers. Shifty, would you ever boycott the 49ers?
No, and I haven't. And I've been through some pretty lean years, that Mike Nolan era, Dennis Erickson,
Oh,
Jim
no.
Tomsula, Chip Kelly.
Oh, man.
Nope.
Don't even. Anyway,
Yeah.
I will never boycott the 49ers. If you are boycotting the 49ers, go join another team because real faithfuls will always support this team. Even if we have different opinions about why our team is awful, we all agree. We love that red and gold, no matter what. Shout out to my boy, Celts Chronicle. Hopefully everything's all right with you, man. I have not been on watching your channels, man. I've been busy, man, but I got to start watching your stuff, and I got to check if Celts Chronicles wants to be on my show again. But anyway, let's keep moving on. David Villa, there we go, said it correctly. What's up, Faithful and John J and Shifty? Let's beat the Rams, get back on track. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sergeant Bubbly says, boycott you are not dead. Yeah, see, even Sergeant Bubbly agrees with me. Why would you boycott the team? I don't get it. Okay, Trey Lance got hurt. So you're going to boycott the team? No, he's going to be back next year. Don't boycott the team. Anyway, I feel bad for Trey Lance. Again, I like Trey Lance. I think he will be a really good quarterback. I just hope that next year, the Niners don't run him to the ground because then, Jimmy's gone. He's gone. We'll have no backup plan. So the Niners will have to be forced to get a backup plan for Trey Lance. Sergeant Bubbly says, faithful, forever faithful.
You said it best.
All right. Here we go. Now, the final topic of the show, keys to victories. We talk about this. What are keys, important factors for the 49ers to win this football game? So your thoughts. What do the Niners have to do to win the game?
Well, I think you made a good point earlier about the interior of the defensive line. They need to play really well because what I've noticed against the Falcons and against the Kansas City Chiefs is on first down, they were getting just chunks of yards every first down. It seemed like it would go from 1st and 10 to like 2nd and 3 to 2nd and 4 to 2nd and 2. And then that opens up the entire playbook, and the defense really has no clue what to expect. So what's going to really help out with that is if the interior of the defensive line, like you said, Ridgeway, Givens, and Spence, if they can have a good game, and the Rams offensive line isn't great, and I believe their starting left tackle just is out for the season now, or he's going to miss this game. So the Niners offensive line really, really does need to defensive line needs to step up and like dominate in the trenches. Because if you can dominate in the trenches, that's half the battle right there. So, and that'll free up guys like Warner and Greenlaw and the safety like Hufanga, Jimmy Ward, Gibson to make some plays. So that's number one. I think number two, offensively, I think that we need to feed the ball to Christian McCaffrey, get him involved a lot. He's going to be exposed to the entire playbook. Let him make plays. Just a couple of weeks ago, he was able to put up a big game against these LA Rams. So I think he can do it again. And then you sprinkle in plays like, to Kittle, Debo, if he's going to be out there, Brandon Ayuk, so on and so forth. But beyond that, have to win the turnover battle. And that's how we won like the first game. Like we didn't turn the ball over. We got interceptions, and that was pick 6 by Hufanga, which was an excellent play. But we're going to need to really just, dominate in the trenches, because if we can, then, they're missing, again, they're starting left tackle. So you have Bosa, Ebukam. These guys need to get pressure on Stafford, because we know Stafford, a bit like Jimmy in a way, they're not the same player by any means, but a bit like Jimmy, he'll throw some passes that can be intercepted. We know this. So if we can get pressure on him, then we have opportunities where he will make mistakes. But number one, defensively, get him on first down, get it to be 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11. That way they have to start thinking, become more one-dimensional. They might have to throw the ball, let our pass rushers just get after Stafford, force him into mistakes. And the offense just needs to be good. Like feed your stars, McCaffrey, get the ball in Kittle's hands, Ayuk, and just I don't think we have to like take any risky plays. If it's there, go for it. Like if you have a one-on-one coverage, throw it deep. Don't be afraid to do that. But I think we just need to play a clean game offensively. Defense needs to rebound, because when you look at the defense, and I do think that, like, especially when everyone was healthy, this defense was really good. But the defense in the last 2 games, and this is taking out the fumble that got returned for a touchdown against Atlanta, and this is taking out the safety. The defense in the last 2 games has given up 63 points. That's 31.5 points per game. So I'd like to see a big rebound game by the defense as we head into the bye week, and then reevaluate where we're at.
Yeah. So Celts Chronicle says, everything is well. Thanks for asking, brother. Been balancing time with the family. And a lot of people forget this, Shifty, that many people think that because we're on YouTube, we don't have to go to work. We make a lot of money from YouTube, but a lot of people don't know you are not monetized yet. I'm lucky to be monetized, but I'm not making millions of dollars. I wish I was making millions of dollars, but I do make a little bit of the hard work I do on YouTube. And the same thing for Celts Chronicles. He reminds us that we have lives, we have jobs, we have things to do in our real world. So it's always great to know when everyone is doing all right, because when I don't see someone for a while, I get very nervous, because because I worry about all my fans, because again, I think I'm the only person on YouTube that reads the comments of his fans, always says great things about him, because they take time to watch me. So it's always great to know that they're doing okay. Celts Chronicle also says every D lineman improved on the 7-2 run last year as well. It seems hard to duplicate that. Yeah. Hopefully, like, hopefully we have that same trend, and like we run up the table, go to the playoffs, make an NFC championship run, maybe a Super Bowl run. We'll see what happens every week, one game at a time. Couch says, without DJ Jones and a healthy Eric Armstead and oh man, I'm still mad that DJ Jones went to Denver. Arden Key, I wish we're able to find a way to keep him, but he's now with the Jaguars. So
DJ Jones was a big loss. That was a big loss.
Yeah, he had the best grade in stopping the run last year. That's why he got that big contract from Denver. All right, Niners all damn day says Kyle needs to add jet sweeps and play actions. Some fake runs to Caffrey, going to Debo, something creative. Please, yeah. Like, be more creative, man. Come on, man. I don't know why, I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know what to say no more. But anyway, well, Shifty, another great 49ers Ultimate Report show with the Candlestick Point Report. You know the drill. Let the fans know who you are one last time.
I'm Shifty's 49ers talk, 49er faithful all my life. Born in San Francisco, live in San Francisco. Kelt, good idea. Can we trade Kyle for a healthy Lance? That'd be pretty good. Um, but yeah, so I do 49ers content this week. Has actually been pretty slow for content. Been kind of under the weather for most of the week. Really want to get a preview video out for the Rams game coming up before Sunday. And ideally, I'd like to do my power ranking video as well. But just hopefully we'll feel a little bit better as the day goes on and tomorrow. Beyond that, catch me on Sundays or whenever the 49ers are playing. I do always live stream the games. And that's been a lot of fun. And I want to say a shout out everyone who's in here right now watching, who comes by the streams. Like, it really means a lot that you guys will take time out of your Sunday to, watch the games like with me and, watch us like react and engage with one another while the game is on. It's really, it's like my favorite thing to do on YouTube is to live stream the games, because it's great to have, all the fans there, 49er fans and even fans of other teams and there while the game is on. But yeah, I put out content. I have a Twitter, Shifty 49ers Talk. I have Instagram, but I would say I'm most active on YouTube, and yeah, so that's what I do. I put out a lot of Niner content.
And yeah, check out Shifty 49ers Talk. Subscribe to his channel. He does other works too. I know he collaborates with other people as well, not just me. Shifty's a very busy man, but just check his stuff out. But with that said, I'm John Jay. This is the 49ers Ultimate Report. Shifty, you have a good rest of your day, and go Niners.